Welcome back to your favorite sports competitive betting show. I am your host, Josh Elliott. It's season 2, baby. We're halfway through the point. Point of the season. Boys started out pretty cold, but since week 3 have profited over 22.8. Actually, I think that's over 30 units now after last week. If you aren't watching this show, then you better start watching it now. These cappers will continue to battle it out head-to-head to find out who will win the Call Your Shot championships. The standings are starting to shape up, but anything can happen, so strap in. It is going to be a good one. Let's see who's entering in the sports arena tonight. In the blue corner, hoping to get out of the basement tonight. Maybe some dad strength will help him. I don't know. He's my favorite Italian. It's Nicky G from the Odds Fathers. How's it going, Nicky?
I'm everything's going well. Yeah, hopefully that dad strength can transfer over, and hopefully we're gonna parlay last week into a good week this one because we finally got off the schneid. So.
Hey, one week is a profitable week. 2 weeks a profitable week. That's a streak, my friend. That is a streak. So let's get that going. You're going up against in the red corner, looking to stay in the playoff spot. The guy gives it to you pretty straight. No pussyfooting around from him. All the way from Yinzer country. It's Luke. How's it going, Luke? Oh, we lose him? What's going on here? Might have lost him. That's all right. In the next matchup here, in the red corner, seasoned veteran to Call Your Shot coming in with a 2-1 record and a 50% success picking rate. He's always a force to deal with. He's a Sasky boy himself. It's Kenneth Cotterill. How's it going, Kenny?
Just excited to be on the show, going up against my good pals over at Source, the top of the standings this week. So, I got to see if I can have a good week and maybe give them a run for their money.
Somebody's got it, right? You can't stay at the top the whole time. So, like you said, you're going up in the blue corner. I'm surprised he's here tonight. Thought he'd be planning the Call Your Shot championship parade already. Will his undefeated streak come to an end, or will their dominance continue? We shall see. It is the Source. It's Job tonight. How you doing tonight?
Doing great. Usually I hate being on a show with Luke. He gives me a little PTSD as the only person to ever beat me, in air quotes, on Call Your Shot in season 1. But I'm glad to be back. It's good to see everybody. I haven't seen you or Nick in feels like 2 months. So it's good to be back, good to be competitive. I hope everyone has positive units.
It has been a while. It has been a while since we've seen your face. Actually, last time we've seen you you were in Baltimore.
I was at Camden Yards.
And they ended up losing that game. So, I mean.
A long time ago.
Tough times, yeah. All right, boys. Before we get going, quick disclaimer. We are making these picks for Friday, Saturday, and sometimes Monday. Games picked tonight could have a potential value change or a line change. So, for example, Tennessee Titans are underdogs 1.5 right now, or 2 points, I believe. That could change, go up to 3, 4, even actually drop, which I think is going to happen. We can talk about that later. So make with these picks with us now. Bet with us now. Grab a drink, grab your friend, grab your grandma. I don't care. Let's make some picks and let's have some fun. So I'm going to get Nicky G to start us out with his first one. What do you got for me there, Nick?
So, so for my first pick here, I actually love this bet even more now, looking what's going on with the game the Coyotes are playing as we speak. I almost want to up this to like a 7-unit game and just play nothing else. But, the Coyotes, last year they were, I know it was a shorter COVID season, but they're a team that usually was predicated on defense. They don't score a lot of goals. This year, their defense has slipped. And then, they're on a second leg of a back-to-back against the Capitals, who obviously are a team that can shoot the puck as well as anybody. And then right now, as we speak, the Coyotes are down 4-0 to the Lightning, who, by the way, the Lightning have been stumbling early on this season. So I just think, you get a good team of guys like Wilson, Oshie, Ovechkin, et cetera, going up against a team on the road, second leg of a back-to-back, struggling all season. I'm just keeping it simple. I think that the Caps run away with that one.
I agree with you too, Arizona. I was trying to come up with an argument for this pick. I don't have one. It's Arizona. They're the worst team in the NHL, and they're on a back-to-back. All points are pointing towards Washington right now. Now, Washington coming off a loss. Maybe that's the argument there. They're coming off a loss. Didn't really score against not very good, well, supposedly not very good Red Wings team. But does that worry you at all?
That's even was like more of the ammo I had to pick them because I think of how good they are and they're a well-coached team. I just think, what are the chances now they lose 2 in a row, especially against this team? So I don't really put much stock in that.
No, that's fair. There's nothing. I don't have anything against this pick, honestly. It's just too hard to find any value on the other side. But let's go over to Luke. I don't know if he's back here. Luke, you back? He is not back. All right. We'll try again. Technical difficulties. It happens all the time. But his first pick, we'll go to his first pick. His first pick, he's going Penn State to cover the 18.5 against Ohio State at -110 for 2 units. I like this play. Penn State's been playing pretty well. Ohio State, I mean, it's still Ohio State, but I mean, Penn State coming off a loss against Illinois last week. That might have a little bit of worry. Joel, what do you think of this Penn State pick?
I would like Penn State to win this game. I don't think it'll happen. I don't know that they'll even cover. But 18.5 is a lot of points to give a good team. Penn State is a good team. They run the football well. They play good defense. They don't get a lot of penalties. I hope that they can overcome Ohio State as a C.J. Stroud Heisman Trophy ticket holder at plus 1,100. I'm hoping they can knock the quarterback for Ohio State around and kind of make that a shorter race. But I don't know. It's going to be a tough hill to climb. They're going to have to come out and take care of the football. They can't turn it over. If they turn it over even once, they're probably not going to cover the 18.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's going to be a tough line, but that is a massive line to begin with. But I mean, it is what it is. Kenny, let's go over to you for your first pick. What do you got?
I got Tottenham money line all the way up at plus 200 there. This line is really shocking to me, especially given the recent form of Man United, because I'm a Man United fan. I watch them all the time. But coming off of league loss, Spurs did go and beat Burnley in the League Cup midweek, so I think that they're going to be coming in riding high. Man United, on the other hand, is coming off a 5-0 whooping against Liverpool in Manchester, so they've now got to go on the road, take on a really tough I mean, he can make my pick if he wants. Like, I'm all for it.
I think he's laughing at it.
I think he's just like, damn, plus 200, like swinging for the fences or what?
Yeah.
No, but even you watch videos all week and you could see Ronaldo was mocking the manager out there. Like Sir Alex Ferguson was critical of Solskjaer a couple weeks ago as well for the handling of the team. I think he's on his way out, and I think that this is going to be like the nail in his coffin because Tottenham's a team that historically they've done fairly well against, but having to go and take them on at Tottenham, I think the value's there for a team that just got absolutely stomped. There's no way Pogba's even going to play. Solskjaer wasn't going to play him anyways because he doesn't like him, but overall, I think the value for Tottenham money line at plus 200 is definitely there.
So quickly, one of two things. One, this is a 3-way bet. I'm pretty sure all your soccer bets are going to be 3-way, so they need to win outright. They cannot have a draw. 2, question for you isn't Man U your team?
They are my team, and if you watch the way that they played last week, the manager has completely lost the locker room there. Like, they have a ton of talent. Ronaldo's been scoring goals in bunches, but the back line is an absolute mess right now. Varane not playing. He was one of their big transfer signings in the offseason. He hasn't played, and so overall, I just think that they're an absolute mess. I think Tottenham comes out and beats them, and then they seriously contemplate finally firing Solskjaer, a guy that I think shouldn't have had the job in the first place.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Tottenham, you heard there, plus 200. Can't go wrong with that. I'd like to welcome in our co-host for the night is Vincent Elliott. How you doing tonight? Good. Okay. Sounds good. All right. He's here. He's here to help. He's here to help us with some picks tonight, fellas. So let's continue on. Joel, what do you got for your first pick?
Well, let's see. Vincent, what do you think of this pick? We're going to take Carolina plus 3. We're going to make it a 3-unit play. Frankly, this is all about Sam Darnold being undervalued because of his horrible start last week, and the Panthers being a good football team. They are a good football team. They're not great, but they're good. Robbie Anderson dropped 7 passes last week. Sam Darnold was benched mid-game. He will be the starter. Robbie Anderson won't drop 7 balls every week. This line should be closer to even than plus 3. We'll take the points all day long.
Yeah, I mean, from a self Atlanta Falcons better myself. I don't like this pick, but I mean, I ride or die with my Falcons. Sam Darnold kind of off to a pretty decent season. Now, I mean, Matty Ryan, how do you find betting against Matty Ryan? Do you think he's still got it, or is his time's kind of done?
Betting against Matt Ryan is always a heart attack because the one thing he does is air it out. It's like, oh, it's garbage time. Let me just ruin the spread for everybody. Right? I just don't know that Matt Ryan can attack this Carolina defense the way that he has other defenses in the NFL. They do play great man-to-man. Even without J.C. Horn, they are very effective at corner. They will lock down Calvin Ridley. There's just not that many targets left for Matt Ryan to throw to. Kyle Pitts is great. He's lined up outside on 32% of snaps this season, the most by tight ends by a lot. I just don't see them getting it done because they don't run the ball well enough to get the play-action game in place, and Ridley can only do so much.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. But, I mean, hey, Falcons, man, they're not too bad. I mean, let's not undervalue them a little bit there. That brings us to the end of the first round. Just quick little plug here. If you see some of the Bet US signs top left there, as well as some, you see the Bet US by the odds. Bet US, they're a major sponsor for us, America's favorite sportsbook. Make sure to check them out when you do sign up. I'm gonna drop a link below. You can click that link, sign up. Or just sign up and you get the match deposit from 125%. They'll match that and then up to $2,500. Or you can use the promo code Call Your Shot for that same deposit bonus. Make sure to check them out. I've been using them quite a bit now, and they're pretty good. I like their line. So that brings us to the second round. Nicky G, what do you got?
So college football here. This is a line that I don't understand at all. I think that UCF is being really undervalued because they had not two duds because one of the games they won, but two kind of off games. I know they didn't play Navy that well. And then obviously, you look at the ECU game. But in this particular game, it's just, to me, they're playing Temple, and Temple is just really bad. They've been really bad for years. They really haven't been – even since they've been bouncing around conferences, now that they, play in the American, I always felt like they were a team that because, as a school wise, because they have a lot of undergraduates and they have a stadium they play in that has more than 15,000 seats, they're basically given more love than they should be.
Yeah.
They've been losing to really bad teams, this year. It's not like they've been playing a schedule of all teams that, they're playing Ohio State every week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me go down the line really quick, just to put this one into perspective. So,
yep.
Temple and their home field advantage is, by the way, not a home field advantage at all. I live only a couple hours from there, so I'm pretty familiar with that. Last week they lost by 20 to South Florida, and South Florida is terrible. Then they played Cincinnati, sure, but they only scored 3 points against Cincinnati. And Cincinnati, even though they're ranked where they are for a reason, they've had some games where the games are competitive. And then they only scored 3 points against Boston College. They let up 24 to Akron. You take away that Memphis game, and that's an on-paper game with Memphis, because look at Memphis this year. They've lost a few games to teams that aren't good. So they're not the same Memphis of old, going up against UCF, who is still – their offense could put up 60 points any given Saturday. And even Saturday, is that a new saying? For that reason, I like UCF's quarterback, and that's kind of why I'm there.
So question for you. You have moved this line because the line is 10.5. You have moved it a point, which gives you the minus 135. Are you worried that, this is going to be a 10-point game, or are you expecting kind of a blowout?
I expect
backward cover from Temple, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I expect a blowout, but to me, where I am in the standings right now, in terms of giving up, an extra $10 to $15 of juice, and the fact that, I'm towards the bottom of the barrel here in this league, it was worth the saving my backside, right? So, if they're up by, 17 and you get a last minute score or something like that, I'd rather take that chance and live with it, because it's not something that, I'm making a bet based upon buying juice every game or every week I play. In a contest format, I'd rather save myself.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. You did mention you might have to take off here because you're a new dad. You going to keep going, or you need to get some other picks out of the way?
I'm all right now. We're doing good. We're rolling.
You just let me know. Let's go to Luke. He's finally back here. Lukey, here to give you your second pick there.
I mean, I Dre Rogers the fuck out of that. I don't know what happened. Like, I could see everybody, and it was just a black square. And then I was talking, and nothing was coming out. So I looked down, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely on mute. And I looked down, I'm not on mute, and it's just a black square.
You're running on
like,
you're running on that Bali internet, aren't you?
I guess. Yeah.
All right, what do you got for your second pick?
Well, this line has been bouncing around, but the Dallas Cowboys plus 2.5 versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm a little worried because I don't know about what Kirk Cousins is going to show up. It might be the good Kirk Cousins, or it might be the bad Kirk Cousins. I'm hoping it's the bad Kirk Cousins.
I think that's a safe bet, Luke.
I think it's a safe bet. It's a late game versus a very good team, so I hope the bad Kirk Cousins shows up for this football game. So I'm actually rolling with Kenny's boys, the Dallas Cowboys.
Can somebody explain to me why? Because this line was 1.5. It just jumped out when I looked to 2.5. To plus 2.5.
Dak is not going to play.
What's that?
Dak will not play.
Oh,
there will be no Dak Prescott unless things change drastically before Sunday. There will be no Dak Prescott in this game.
Who's their backup?
Cooper Rush.
My cousin Benny.
All right, so we just touched up on that Dallas pick. What do you want to? We did talk about the Penn State pick. Do you want to quickly give your 2 cents on the Penn State pick?
The biggest thing is if Sean Clifford doesn't turn over the football. That's the biggest concern for me. But in years past, this has been probably the top 10 or top 15 game of the year, usually when they play Penn State. It's always a very good game and a very close game. It might be a high-scoring game at some points, but Ohio State seems to have figured it out. Ryan Day seems to have put it together. But this game is a rivalry game in Columbus, so I'm hoping that the decent Sean Clifford shows up to play for Penn State. The huge thing is turnovers. He can't turn over the ball. If he turns over the ball, then I'm fucked. But that's the way of the game.
Yeah, no, turnovers will fuck you. Turnovers will fuck you every time. So let's go over to Kenny for his second pick. If I'm not mistaken, that's where the order we're at. Kenny, what do you got for your second?
I'm rolling with Brentford money line. They're taking on Burnley. I've been hitting on draws and victories with them all year. They're 12th in the league. One thing that's hurt this line is the fact that they have lost 2 straight, but they did go at League Cup play. They had to travel to Stoke, and they were able to pick up a victory there. Burnley is yet to win this year, so the fact that they're even favored in this game is really shocking to me, although they do have it pretty much even across the board. So one thing that also hurts Brentford is the fact that they haven't picked up a road victory yet this year, but they've also played the toughest road schedule out of everyone in the EPL. They've played Liverpool, they've played Leicester, they've played Man City, so they've played all the top teams. They really haven't had an opportunity to take on one of those lower teams, and Burnley is definitely one of those. So I think overall it's a team that's on the rise. They were in the championship last year, but they're the best team that came up from the championship this year, and I think they're going to take advantage of a really poor Burnley side.
So fair enough. Yeah, like we said, before, it's a 3-way, so they have to win outright, cannot draw. And who did you say? They're playing Burnley, right? And Burnley's at the bottom of they call it the table, sorry.
Yeah, they're in the relegation zone right now. They're not the absolute worst team, because actually we're about to, in the next pick, look at that team a little more in depth. But, I mean, they're probably going to get relegated this year. They just can't score goals.
Fair enough. Like I said last week, my English soccer knowledge goes as far as Ted Lasso, so not a ton of info there. But hey,
Tottenham Hotspurs, as he would call them.
Yeah. And maybe a little bit of FIFA 17. I don't know. Maybe Joe, what do you got for your second pick?
Well, I'm feeling the pressure here with all these big money lines that Kenny's putting out. So we're going to go with the New England Patriots money line at plus 205 for 2 units. This right here is the biggest Vegas win of the season in the NFL. Everyone and their brother wants the Patriots to lose this game. All of the tickets, last I looked, was 64% of tickets and 70% of money were on the Patriots to lose this matchup. That's a little concerning. But the line has moved from 5.5 to 4 and 4.5 in some places. The Sharps are going to move this line for the Patriots. It's probably going to close at 3.5. Bill Belichick absolutely dominates the Chargers every time they play. Special teams is what the Chargers are not good at. On top of that, they give up 135 yards per game on the ground, and the Patriots rush for about 120 a game. That is their strength with the rookie quarterback, is to hand the ball to Damian Williams and just push the pile. They have a great running back duo there with either him and J.J. Taylor, him and Brandon Bolden, depending on who's active. I fully expect them to win this game. It will be close, but we like the 205 for value.
Okay, so, I mean, I understand, Bill Belichick's record against the Chargers, but this is a brand new Chargers team in my mind. Herbert's starting to kind of, get into a rhythm where he's starting to be profitable as a quarterback. What do you say about New England's, their road games? I know they blew out, I think it was Philly actually on the road, 35-0. But they had two games against, I think it was the Giants and the Jets. No, Giants and Houston, where they barely won. They just barely sneaked by. This is a completely different offense and defense that they're going to be facing on Sunday. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's interesting the way Bill Belichick has played this season. He's clearly protected the rookie quarterback from criticism by not having him go for it in those 4th and short situations, 4th and 3, 4th and 2. He's punted the ball. He's taken a lot of flack for that, but if there's one thing we know about Bill Belichick is that he does not care what we think. He does not care what the media thinks. The training wheels are off at this point because this is a win or go home game for the Patriots this season. If they don't win, their road to the playoffs goes from about 26% chance to about 18%, and they have a rookie quarterback. So I don't think that Bill will keep the training wheels on. I really think that when putting up 56 on the Jets was let's build some momentum on the offense. We're going to absolutely go for the jugular here. I would expect a couple of questionable play calls on 4th and short from the Patriots, maybe even some fake punts. We know the Chargers are not good at special teams.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, and you're a Massachusetts guy, are you not? So this may be a little homer pick.
Actually, Sam made this pick. If it was up to me, I'm playing them as well, but it's a little bit more homer for me than for Sam. Sam likes this money line. I think as of the time that Sam placed it about an hour ago, it's down to about 180 in places. It opened at 215 and is dropping fast. So get it as fast as you can. That line is changing rapidly.
Like we said in the disclaimer, bet with us now because that line is moving. So that brings us to the halfway point. You know what that means. It is the player pick of the week when shopping online, www.playergolf.com. Make sure to use promo code BetTheOver for 20% off. I'm wearing the hat. I don't think Kenny's wearing any player stuff right now. But I know he has it. I know he's made orders online. So you should be doing the same. They're just a great company, great for athletic wear, golf apparel, golf accessories, anything that you need for the golf course, they got it. But yeah, great company. So what's that? Before
you get to the player pick of the week, can I ask a question for everybody here?
Yeah, let's hear.
Anyone watching the game can tell me what's going on. I've got it on mute. What just happened at that point? What's the call on the field?
The call on the field is that Rondell Moore didn't touch it, and that's going to be Arizona ball. But it looked to me like he touched it, and Green Bay should take over special teams at the 1 yard line.
His finger definitely bent back on that. Like, that should be enough, but the NFL's weird, like this whole conclusive evidence stuff.
Thank you for the clarification.
I'm not watching the game, so I don't know what's going on. I'm dealing with a 1-year-old, so you got to pick your spots, right? So, player pick of the week. Player pick of the week is going to be the Tennessee Titans money line plus 110 for 2 units against the Indianapolis Colts. I think Tennessee is starting to roll here. We've seen it the last 2 weeks. They're starting to kind of bring their defense back into play. Their offense is obviously rolling. Tannehill does he has Brown back. He has, not Brown, Julio Jones back, as well as Hollywood Brown there. So, I mean, he's starting to get his weapons back. Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry. You know what he's going to do. He's going to rush for 100 yards. He's probably going to score 1 or 2 touchdowns. And then, I mean, Indianapolis Colts, I know they beat San Fran, but they're just offensively, they did not look good. Now, granted, it was raining. It was pouring last week against, the 49ers. But that being said, I still don't trust Carson Wentz. I don't think Carson Wentz is an elite quarterback. And I think he's going to have a heyday with this defense with Tennessee. And I like the offense that Tennessee's bringing, like I said. So give me the Tennessee money line plus 110. I don't know why they're underdogs. Like, I know they're on the road, but I still don't really agree with it. I think, Tennessee should be favored by, I think it line should be 2.5, probably underdog favorite for Tennessee. But I mean, I'm gonna nab this plus money line right now for 2 units.
Well, Josh, we talked about it already separately from the show, but if you're looking for why this is a dog play, look at the injury report and look no further.
True.
It looks like Julio is probably trending towards being limited. It looks like they're going to have at least 2 offensive linemen not playing. It's going to be the B team for the Tennessee Titans this week.
I wouldn't even
still be enough
B,
to get it done.
It's going to be like A-B. I didn't know the news about Julio Jones, but that still doesn't worry me. I think Derrick Henry's full. That's enough to just dominate. And I mean, I don't know. I just don't like Carson Wentz on the other side. I just don't trust him. I think he's a fraud. That's the first time I've used this season.
Ooh, there's the F word.
He's just not elite. And even in the win last week, I don't think what we've seen from him wasn't great. So San Fran, I don't know what they were dealing with, but I don't know. I like Tennessee in the spot, even without Jones. I think Tannehill can still sling it for a couple TDs and probably Derrick Henry get on the board at least once or twice. So third round here, let's go to Nicky G for his third pick. What do you got, Nick?
SMU Houston over. This is an American game, and I feel like American is known as the over conference. All those teams love to be high-flying football over there. And this just comes straight off of a numbers game for me. You're looking at 2 offenses that have been putting up points every single game all year. They got 2 good passing offenses, so they like to air it out. It's not going to be as much of run for Houston as well. Houston doesn't run as much, so you're not going to have time kind of come off the clock as much. These teams blow other teams out in wins, but they've also had games where they let up a lot of points. I believe Tulane was able to put up a healthy amount against Houston, and Tulane's not known for great offense. So I think 62 in this game is a number that I could easily see this game, being a 38 to 30 game, and beating that by even 6-7 points.
Yeah, Tulane, nor are they good defensively, so not a great team either. Houston actually, though, let's talk about their defense for a little bit here. They're supposed to be coming in with one of the top defenses in college, and it probably just haven't really seen much of it. Now SMU, on the other hand, kind of the same thing. Great. I mean, I shouldn't say great defense, but I mean, they're okay. But Houston, are you worried about their defense at all? Do you think they can shut down SMU a little bit, or do you think they're just going to kind of run right through them a bit?
I'm not, because I think that their defense is situational depending on who they're playing, and that kind of skews it a little bit. They let up 24 against ECU last week. I mean, so that's nothing to write home about. It's not a bad game, but it's not a great game. ECU is not a great offensive team. They only put up, I believe, 16 the week before that. Then they let up 22 to Tulane. So that game was 62. They played good defense against Tulsa. Then they let up 20 against Navy. These are teams that are bottom of the barrel in that conference that they should be beating bad. The games where they went under was against Rice and Grambling. You know what I mean? So those are the only games where the under hit, I believe, correct?
Yeah. And you're not getting any offense from those 2.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you look at SMU, and SMU 55-26 against Tulane. That was at home. And this is a nationally ranked team in SMU. Then same thing, another 24 points they let up to Navy. South Florida, they only let up 17, but they score SMU. So that was 58-point total. TCU, they scored 42 against TCU's defense is actually not that bad, but they let up 34, so 42-34. LA Tech, you're talking about a bottom of the barrel Conference USA team. Conference USA is about to lose every school in that conference. They got half of them going to the American, and they got 3 of them going down to the Sun Belt, which used to be below Conference USA.
Yeah.
So basically all around, it's the same. I look at both these teams, and you only see one game or two on the schedule between them where it was low scoring, and they like to pass the ball. So I don't think the clock will be running as much as well.
Fair enough. Yeah, you always got to look at the over when SMU is playing, like you said. Just such an electric offense that there's just so much fun to watch. Maybe not necessarily in that Navy game. There was an Army that they played. I think it was Army.
That was Navy.
It was Navy. It was Navy. Yeah. That I don't think that over hit, did it?
No, that over did. I believe that over just missed.
Yeah.
Go back and look at the line.
I had SMU won by 2 touchdowns. I think they only won by 1 touchdown. So, hey, it is what it is. Let's go to Luke for his third pick. What do you got for me, Luke?
Yeah, so let me preface this by saying the U is not back by any stretch of any imagination, okay? Because I know there's one guy out there that's going to dog me for this pick because he's probably already texting me right now as I tell this, okay? Miami will stay in the game, okay? They will not – they might not win this game, but they'll stay in with 9.5. How about that? Pitt has not played a good team this year, honestly. I've been looking at this game, and I'm like, how is Pitt, eat shit Pitt, 16th in the nation? And, well, they played a dog shit Clemson, which, thank you, Dabo Sweeney, for making me money this year. Yeah, thank God for you guys, because you've been making me a lot of money this year. VT, Georgia Tech, UNNH, and they lost to Western Michigan. So that's a terrible loss. It might be the worst loss. But I just don't know with this Miami team. I really don't. The good thing is this Trevor Van Dyke don't turn the ball over much. So that's like okay, I guess. But it's Pitt at home. I don't like Pitt. Eat shit, Pitt. So give me the Florida or Miami Hurricanes at plus 9.5 for 2 units.
That's the best analysis I've heard here. Let me preface this: the Miami U is not back.
It is not back. They are not back.
That is the best. Just got word here that Nikki G's got to take off. But give us a quick analysis on your last pick here, Nikki G.
Okay, so sorry about that, boys. Obviously, the duty, no pun intended, calls. I took my last pick here. I went Tampa because I just really think that they're hitting their stride big time. I think that the one game where they really didn't look that great was against the Rams, who were honestly and are an elite team in this league and a Super Bowl caliber team. I think 4.5. We talked about it. I don't know if we talked about this on the last live I did with you guys, but I think I mentioned how I think 4.5 is one of those numbers where it's Vegas baiting you to take the underdog. If it's not 3.5 and it's 4.5, they want you to think, this is an underdog game, but usually the favorites win something like near 70% of the time when the spread is 4.5. And that's not the only reason I'm taking this. Obviously the Bucs, their team all around, it is as strong and hitting their stride as it is. They're toying with teams out there, blowing them out. I mean, other than the Patriots game, but I think bad weather, Foxborough, the whole element that you had with Brady, that kind of, is a little wrench in everything. But yeah, I mean, to me, the Saints are not the same old Saints. You saw last week against Geno Smith, they really didn't do anything, and that's concerning. So I just think that their offense is not going to be able to keep up with Tom Brady and the Bucs offense.
Let's give Geno Smith just a little bit more credit here, Nikki G. All right, he was slinging it pretty good last week. Quickly before you go, though, Tampa Bay, not great defense when it comes to the pass game. Do you think Jameis Winston can sling it for a couple TDs or 3 TDs, or no? Do you think they're going to be able to shut him down?
Yeah, I don't. I think that unless he, is just having one of those games where he's throwing bombs down the field and everyone is converting and he's getting, these crazy throws, I just don't think they're going to have enough. I think that, Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles are very, like cerebral type of coaches. So I think they're going to take Kamara away. And I think they're going to just make you beat them without using Alvin Kamara. And then I just don't think that there's enough there to beat them without it. I think who do you really have? You have Marquez Callaway down the field on a deep shot.
Yeah. You got Mark Ingram now.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
They do, but I still think, let alone regardless of how Mark Ingram is now, I think also just Mark Ingram now trying to get used to this system again and short week of preparation. I just don't see it.
Fair enough, man. I agree with you. I like this line where it's at. Hopefully, it is not a trap. You go be a dad. We'll see. We'll see you next episode or whatever you're on. All right.
Yes, thank you, boys.
See you, Nikki G.
Good luck.
All right. So if I'm not mistaken, we are now at Kenneth for his third pick. Another little EPL pick. What do you got, Kenny?
I mean, let's be honest. I bet unders. I bet kickers. I'm now betting a draw. I am betting for teams to tie.
You are so
But-
boring, Kenny.
With that
fuck,
being
Kenny?
said, the teams that we're talking about, Norwich and Leeds, they've played a combined 18 games this year, and they have won one of them. So all signs point to the fact that neither one of these teams actually likes winning. And they're both at the bottom of the EPL. You got Leeds at 17th. You've got Norwich at 20th. Overall, Norwich just lost 7-0 to Chelsea, and neither of these teams plays any defense. I think their goal differential is -8 and -21 on the year. I just see this game being 1-1 draw. Overall, if Leeds was at home, I would 100% take them to win this game, pick up their second win. But I think Norwich gets the little boost of being at home, and it gives them that goal that they need in order to draw this game. So overall, both these teams are awful, and I think neither of them wants to pick up 3 points.
And how many games combined have they played?
18.
18, and only one has been a win.
One victory between them.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, neither one of these teams is trying to win games right now, it seems like. So in that case, I have to lean that they're going to draw this game.
yeah. I mean, when you have 18 games combined and one of them's been a win, the rest have been losses or draws. Oh, I mean, yeah. I don't know nothing about I'm not going to sit here and talk about Norwich or Leeds like I know them. I've been a diehard fan for years, but I mean, 260 plus 260 for a draw, and that's what usually end up being soccer games from an outside, Canadian view. I don't hate the pick. I don't hate it at all. I like it.
I
Well,
mean,
let's go to
Josh,
your
why
third-
are you being like this with him right now?
He's being too nice.
I mean, what? I mean,
I said to Josh, too, I feel like if I pick a draw, there's going to be an issue here. So
I mean,
he said roll with it.
Hey,
So
I'm the host here, Luke. I got to be very supportive of everybody's picks, right? Unless you're betting against the Atlanta Falcons, then I got to tell you to fuck off a little bit. But I mean,
Luke, I missed you too, man.
Yeah, I miss you too, Kenny. Definitely miss the soccer teams from AAA New England somewhere. Definitely fucking miss that.
All right, Joel.
Now
What do you
I
got for
gotta
your third
draw.
pick? What do you got for your third pick, Joel?
Well, you already used it as the Player Athletics pick of the week. You used the money line. We're going to take the points. Tennessee +2, -110. It is only a 1-unit play. It's the lowest play of the week for us. We pretty much are just going to put the ball in Derrick Henry's hands here, and he's going to run it right down the throat of the Indianapolis Colts. Their defense has not been fantastic. They've been a little slow to stop the run. And then on top of that, on the other side of the ball, Jonathan Taylor popped up today on the injury report as it did not practice for the first time. So we like to hear that if you're betting on Tennessee.
Yeah, fair enough. That's another one I just found out right before. Jonathan Taylor. I would assume though he's gonna play. I don't know, but
He'll play.
He'll
Sure.
play, but who knows how limited he's gonna be? That information we will not know. But yeah, we've talked about Tennessee. I like the pick. I love it. I love the 2 points there. I like him the plus money for +110. And Derrick Henry, he's gonna get at least 1 or 2 touchdowns. He didn't get one last week though, hey? Or did he get? No, he didn't. I don't think he got one last week.
I'm going to be honest. I don't remember. I just assume he has 2 touchdowns every week.
I know he had a throwing touchdown. I know that, but
He did have a throwing touchdown. What I do like, I was at the Baltimore Bengals game this week, so I didn't actually get a lot of red zone. Don't know if he scored on the ground. But what I do like about this game specifically on the prop side of things, I like a Ryan Tannehill anytime touchdown. I don't have a line on that. He's done it now in 2 straight games. They're starting to use a little bit more misdirection with Derrick Henry because when you put 9 guys in the box on defense, there's just so many open receivers and so much open ground.
And he's done it twice now, you said?
He has done it twice.
Oh, I wish I could find that line, but I don't think it's up yet.
I will find that line. I will drop it in the comments for this episode. So anyone who's watching
when
that
drops,
line.
I don't think anytime touchdowns has dropped yet, but when they do,
it has not. But when it does, that's probably going to be somewhere in the plus 200 area, and I love that prop as well.
Yeah. All right, Luke, what do you got for your last pick? Let's hear it.
Let me preface this last one by saying the University of Texas is not back. Okay, horns down. All right. First of all, Steve Sarkisian is the biggest fraud ever. Okay, he got ran out of USC. He went to Alabama, and oh my God, they could win a game at Alabama. Did you know Alabama's like really good at football? I didn't know this, but like I think I could go down there and probably put together a national championship football team. I just then you leave Alabama to go to the Falcons. You get your shit kicked in at the Falcons. You leave the Falcons, and now you're in Texas, which is the hottest seat in college football the past 15 years, probably since Mac Brown left. Okay. You're 4-3. You've lost to Oklahoma and Oklahoma State in back-to-back weeks. Now you're on the road in Baylor versus a Dave Aranda team coming off of, I think they lost last week or they won. I can't remember. Yes, they won last week against BYU. A very good BYU squad.
Yeah.
They obviously took West Virginia to the woodshed. They lost to Oklahoma State in a tight one, beat Iowa State and whatever that Bill and Mary school called Kansas. Who cares about them? I don't even want to talk about that shit show over there. But I think being a noon game in Waco, I'm going to give the advantage to Dave Aranda and the Baylor Bears in this football game. And I think minus 2.5, I think that's pretty generous, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is actually one of those lines that is kind of trappy. It is very
super trappy,
right? It could have a backdoor cover from Texas.
Hey, I like exciting picks. Okay,
it always comes down to the wire with you, Luke. But Baylor, do you think they've been playing up to their potential so far this season? Like I don't feel like they're, what Baylor should be.
I think they're still missing a couple pieces. I don't know what those pieces are on defense. But I'll tell you right now, this Bohannon kid doesn't turn the ball over, which is a huge thing, especially in Big 12 football. Turnovers can lead to points really fast, especially in the Big 12. Yep. So it's really hard to turn the ball over against this Baylor team. And their defense don't give up a lot of points. I think it's about 20 points is what they're averaging. Well, 18.7. And that's pretty good in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So now, mind you, Steve Sarkisian is somewhat of a good offensive coordinator, but I don't like him. I don't like his teams. So if you want to come after me with the Sark talk, you can go right ahead, but I don't care. And I'm going to go with the Baylor Bears. Hopefully they just don't wear those ugly ass uniforms. Did anybody else see those? Like those mustard colored,
Baylor was? No, I didn't see those. No.
Oh my goodness. I'll have to look it up because they're just, oh my goodness. They're worse than those lime green ones that the Seahawks wore a couple years ago, those manila ones.
Actually, no, those are horrible. Yeah. Those are bad. I actually made a bet that was last year and I made a bet on Seattle, and then they came out with those lime green jerseys, and I'm like, my bet's done.
Yeah.
Like, there's no.
Automatic.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. That's just who would do that to their kid?
That's just too much yellow.
Ugh.
All right, Kenny, what do you got for your last pick?
Well, I'll try to be more exciting with this pick. Carolina money line against Atlanta. Overall, I just think Atlanta, they beat Miami by a last-second field goal, and they beat the Jets by a TD, and now everyone thinks that they're back, and I just don't think that they are. I know that Carolina struggled. I know. And they have lost 4 straight, but I think last week was a wake-up call for Darnold. I mean, when you get pulled for PJ Walker, like, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I think he knows that this week he has to perform. It's a division game. Division games are always weird, and I think that Carolina figures out a way to win this game. So I got them at plus 130.
Well, you guys all know my Atlanta Falcons fandom.
I'm sorry to kick the host in the nuts with that, but like,
yeah, we got
I took
two.
the plus 3, Kenny. So
Like-
our matchup has some Carolina favoritism here because I think Carolina is going to absolutely win this matchup. I just figured I'd take the points, but now I need them to lose and cover 3.
yeah, now you need a
Yeah.
second
Now
Atlanta
I gotta
field
middle
goal
that
like
game.
last week for the 2-point loss.
Exactly. Now I need to cover that game in the middle. I don't love.
Very, very, very slim window you guys got to deal with there for your matchup. But yeah, we touched up on it. Sam Darnold probably will sling it, but hey, like we said, Matty Ryan, he can sling it too. He'll probably throw up a couple TDs. We'll see what happens. But Joel, bring us home here. Mariano Rivera, what do you got?
Well, I don't like the reference to Mariano Rivera because I'm a Red Sox fan, as you know, and that brings back bad memories. But we're gonna take
PTSD.
Oh,
Jimmy
Vietnam
Garoppolo and maybe someone else at quarterback. I don't know what Trey Lance's knee is going to look like. I know he's questionable. He's practicing in limited fashion. But we're going to take San Francisco's running game -4 this week. I mean, that line should be 6. It should not be 4. They played a terrible game in the rain last week, which was brutal for them. They don't get a lot of rain in Southern California, newsflash. So they're not used to those conditions, and they got beat up in those conditions. Did not play well, had a lot of drops, 3 turnovers. Their defense did force some turnovers, which was good to see. But with the wet ball, we're not going to take anything into account from that game. Like I said, line should be 6. We're going to take the extra 2 and be very happy with that San Francisco pick.
So we actually touched up on it last week. We were talking about Nagy basically holding Justin Fields back. He's not being Justin Fields like he was in Ohio State. Now that is tough, making that transition from college to NFL. But I mean, we're not seeing Justin Fields we're not seeing him run. We're not seeing him scramble and picking up first downs for when it's needed. Is this a game where we see that?
I think this is the game where Matt Nagy gets fired. So I'm going to go with no. I don't think he changes the offensive game plan. In fact, the best game the Bears have played all season, they played with Matt Nagy out because of COVID last season. The only games they won were when he handed over the play calling duties. He is too stubborn. His scheme does not work in the NFL. I just don't think that this Bears team has the talent to overcome the terrible play calling from the sideline. A team that does have the talent to overcome that play calling, I think, is Arizona. I think Cliff Kingsbury is a very overrated coach, but they have talent. So that's the difference between Chicago and Arizona. They both have terrible head coaches, but one has talent and one does not. I would be curious to see how long Matt Nagy can ride the bus on the hot seat.
The best tweet I seen this week was Matt Nagy out with COVID, should probably quarantine from the Chicago Bears for the next 10 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it might save his job, right? I mean, if he does go out for 10 weeks and they go, 2-8, he probably keeps the job for next season. So that's a possibility. I just think that up to this point, he's had other things he could blame for their losing. Not a lot of talent on that roster. But at this point, I mean, they have one of the more talented receivers in the league, Allen Robinson, who's just not seeing the football. And it's a matter of offensive scheme. The quarterbacks have not been good. And then you can't run the ball 40 times a game like the 85 Bears used to and expect to win because they don't have the defensive talent. And Khalil Mack is going to be out on Sunday. So this is going to be...
he's been basically irrelevant all year. I mean, whatever. But
who's that?
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm one of those people, yes, he's been irrelevant as far as making the big play. That whole defense has been irrelevant in making the big play. But you know that teams are still game planning for Khalil Mack. The way that teams have to game plan for Aaron Donald. Even if you don't hear the name, they impact the game. And without him in there, the one-on-one matchups become that much easier. San Francisco can run the ball right down their throat. I know they don't have Deebo Samuel this week, likely, but it's going to be finally the Brandon Ayuk week. Hammer all of his props on the over.
Oh my God, that dude.
He's been a disappointment to every fantasy player in the entire world. Hates to hear his name at this point because it gives him a little flashback to last season when he was actually a good wide receiver. He's going to get 1 touchdown this week, 4 receptions, 65 yards. You can book that.
Just quickly before we sign off here, Joe Allen Robinson coming to the end of his contract here. 28 years old. Does he get traded at the deadline?
No, but only because the Bears want to give the illusion they're surrounding their rookie quarterback with talent. I think he will walk. I think he'll be a Green Bay Packer as a last-ditch effort to try to keep Aaron Rodgers happy on that football team. I think there are a couple other suitors. Depending on how things work out with Deshaun Watson, the Houston Texans could be a suitor. I also think that there are 1 or 2 teams in the NFC West that could be looking at receiving talent based on contracts next season, San Francisco being among them.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's going to be interesting kind of see what happens here in the next few weeks. I can't remember specifically when the deadline is. November?
I think we have 4 weeks.
4 weeks left. Okay, cool. Right on. Well, that brings us to the end of the show here, fellas. I'm just going to do a quick sign-off and confirm picks here. So, Nicky G, he is rolling with Washington Capitals to cover the puck line -105 for 2 units against the shitty Arizona. I just supposed to say Cardinals. Arizona Coyotes. UCF to cover the 9.5 for 2 units versus Temple. SMU and Houston. Oh, really? SMU and Houston cover the over 62 points for a unit. Tampa Bay to cover the 4.5 on Sunday for 2 units. You can find him on Twitter for more free picks. The Odds Fathers, one of the great follows on Twitter. He's always putting out some bangers for plays. Breaking news: Coach Joel Quenneville out as the head coach in Florida. That's why I just said, wow, kind of expected. Also kind of a surprise, but shit's going down in Chicago.
You ain't kidding.
And that was expected. So, wow. All right, Luke,
that's a great job for Matt Nagy right there. That job is a great job for Matt Nagy.
The Florida Panthers?
College, hockey, one of those sports would be better.
Yeah, I'm sure Matt Nagy knows a lot about hockey.
As a Barkov trophy winner, futures holder, I'm not happy to hear that. But you understand with everything going on that his name was going to be called sooner rather than later.
And you would have to think Ken Cheveldayoff will be out. At least he'll resign. Yeah. Whatever. But very sad story going on in Chicago. Shitty, very, 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 very shitty situation. So let's move on. Luke, so you're going Penn State to cover the 18.5 for 2 units against Ohio State. Dallas to cover the Cowboys, cover the 2.5, and they're underdogs, 2.5 for 2 units. And then Miami, Florida, the U are not back, but they will cover the 9.5 against Pittsburgh. And then the Baylor Bears to cover the 2.5 versus Texas. Is that all correct? And where can they find you?
That is correct. That is all correct, actually. You can find me on Twitter at HeartsOnHockey. I think I went 2-2 the first week, 2-2 the next week. I went 3-1 last week. So hopefully we can get to 4-0 this week. So that's all I'm hoping for.
I didn't have an update to the standings, but you are 2-1 in the record win-loss record, 7-5 for pick record. And you're profiting 1.48 units.
Yeah,
one of 3
up
people.
To Aaron Rodgers to fuck me in the end. Shocker. But.
One of 3 people that are actually profiting money right now. But as a whole, as a team, we are all profiting 3.6 units. So that is
all that matters.
Plus, right?
All that matters.
I'm happy to keep carrying the load there. No worries. I'm not getting back issues at all or anything. So
give Dylan Smith some credit. He's been bringing it. He's back to back.
Yeah, you're right.
So
Absolutely.
He's been bringing it as well. Shout out to Dylan Smith. All right, Kenny, you're going with Tottenham money line plus 195 for 2 units. Brentford money line plus 175 for 2 units. You thought about this all week. I know you did. You were texting me. Norwich and Leeds to draw plus 260 for 1.5 units, and then Carolina Panthers money line plus 135. Is that all correct? Or where can they find you?
That is correct. I think it's a bad omen that I took a draw, and I think the other 2 games are going to be draws, and of course Norwich is going to win, and then I'm just going to come back and be like, boy, what a great call that draw was. So you can follow me at all social platforms at shooters_pod. Joe, best of luck this week, man.
Best of luck to you as well, Kenny. I'd like to see somebody give me a run for my money, so let's hope it's this week.
It would be awesome if we could get a big profitable week. So,
well, the Panthers are going to win by 2, so it's going to be tough for Kenny to profit on that pick.
All right, so you're going with Carolina to cover the 3 for minus 110 for 3 units. That is your max play of the week. New England Patriots money line plus 205 for 2 units, and then Tennessee to cover the 2 minus 110 per unit, and then San Fran to cover the 4 minus 110 per unit. Is that all correct, or where can they find you?
That is all correct. They can find me at that tag right there in the video at Source Podcast 11 on Twitter, at sourcepodcast.com, or they can find us on Facebook and Instagram coming soon.
Perfect. That's good to hear. I have been your host, Josh Elliott. You can catch me on Twitter at JoshElliott9. The player pick of the week is Tennessee. Money line plus 110 for 2 units. I should, get some sort of award for, hosting, producing, being a dad here.
Hold on. Wait a second. Vinny should get the award.
Yeah.
I
mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Everything that I have basically goes to him. So thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. It's been awesome. Let's make some money this week. There's lots of money to be made. Make sure to tail these guys' picks 4 weeks now in a row profit. So like I said before, if you ain't paying attention, you ain't watching, I would highly recommend you should now, because these guys have got some very, very smart minds, and we're very, very glad enough to have some free picks from them. So everybody have a great week. And like I said, let's make some money.